Transform your Power Apps experience by mastering a cascading dropdowns with hyperlinks that are sourced from an Excel file. If you created cascading dropdowns and want to eventually link out to a website, you can hard code those in the dropdown control. That's okay when you have a few selections, but if you got a lot, it's better to have the URLs in Excel or SharePoint list. In this video, you'll learn how to integrate Excel hyperlinks, ensuring each dropdown adapts based on previous selections. I'll also cover some bonus tips. So let's get started with this step-by-step guide. So here's the cascading dropdown. So for example, let's say I select Tesla and then I select Model 3. You can see that it goes to a link for the Model 3. And if I go back to the app here, let's reset that. I'll select BMW. Now this dropdown should have BMW models. Let's go to the X3. Now it's going to go to an X3 website. So let's see how we can do that. And what it's going to do, it's going to use a Excel file that is hosted on SharePoint. And this gives the ability for people to update this particular file. So we don't have to hard code these particular parameters into the app itself. Let's start fresh. I'm going to put in that table that I had earlier. I had copied it, Control V to paste. It pasted the format, but this is not really a table yet. It pasted the colors now. But let me set this up to auto fit for the cell so we can see what it looks like. Now it's asking me to format as a table. Yes, I will format as a table. Now you can see that table design contextual menu comes up. Let's call this something different. We'll call this table cars so I know what to reference. Press enter. And let me give it a name. We'll call it drop Excel Power App. Press enter. Now this should show up in my documents folder. So my Excel file is there. Let's go to Power Apps. Here we're going to create a new app. We'll start from scratch. And we'll create a blank app. And it'll be a blank canvas app. Make it simple. What do I call it? Call it Cascade, Dropdown, and then Excel. Create. We can create a dropdown first or connect the Excel file. But let's create the Excel file first. Go under Data. By the way, there's lots of places to add data. You can add data here, you can add data here, you can add data here. Let's just click on the button here and we'll go to connectors. I'm going to add my connector, Excel Online Business. Click on connection, click connect. I need to put the SharePoint site. Let's connect to the SharePoint site. My Excel file is in my documents folder. Now select my Excel file and we can see that we have the table that we named. Click on that, click connect. It's going to insert an auto-generated ID in the Excel table that showed up earlier. Click connect. So now it loaded it. I don't need this anymore. Let's insert my first drop-down. Go to insert. And it's under the input area here. I can click drop-down. It's going to add that first drop-down. Let's give it a name. I'm going to expand it for the tree view here so I can see things here. So this makes it easier. Click on the three dots. Go to rename. I'll call this DRP drop-down make. Press enter. That's my first drop-down. And in my first drop-down, what are the items? Well, so what are going to be the items? Well, they're going to be the make of the car. Close this and bring up the other one. And we're going to have our titles here. So these are going to be the ones that we're going to reference. The header label, make, model, and URL. We're going to reference that later on Power Apps. Let me double click this to auto fit there. This is the ID that was given to it by Power Apps earlier. So let's go back to Power App. Here under items, we're going to type distinct. It's kind of nice that we don't have to do type it in caps. Distinct. Let me press tab. Selected that. Open parentheses. So what is that sort? It's going to be that table name that we gave it earlier. Cars. We'll select that. And what's the expression? The expression is that make field, right? So click on that. Close parentheses. And that should be our selection, right? And so if I select this, let me save this. Click play. We should see select, and we have our Tesla and BMW, right? But it doesn't do anything. That's because we need to create our second dropdown. Let's go back and create our second dropdown. I don't like seeing Teslas there. Let's go back to select. And I'll show you the way that we can create a button to reset this later on. But let's go back to select, close that, and put our second dropdown. So our second dropdown, we're going to go to insert, and I can just type dropdown, DROP, you'll find it. Click on that, and it'll be my second dropdown. Let's move it down here. This one's going to be called DRP model. So I'll rename this DRP underscore model. Press enter. Now we've got that. And this one for the items, Power Apps actually makes it a little bit easier for us. See, I have my items here. That property is selected. And all I need to do is go down here where the items, the source is going to come from cars. So I'll select that. That's my source. And now the value is I want the model. But I want it to depend on something. So that's going to depend on the drop-down make. So click on that, and it's already have it for me. My parent control is make, the value. So where we want to get our value from, we want to get the matching field from the cars table and the make header. So apply that, and let's see if it works. Click save, click play, and if I select on Tesla, the second one will have Model 3 or Model X. Great. If I select BMW, now this should be either X1 or X3. Fantastic. So it goes there. Let's reselect. Let's put them back into select. Click X to get out of there. That didn't go anywhere because we need to have a launch command. So on here, when we select this, go to on change, select on change, and then on change, what we need to do is type in launch, press tab, let's select the first one, open parentheses. What do you want to launch? You want to call it self, drop underscore model, and then for drop underscore model, the selected text dot, and what do we want to get from there? We want to get the URL. So select that, close parentheses, no errors, great. Click save and press play. Let's see if it works. Let me select Tesla. The second one should populate. Let's go to the Model X, and now it's going to open up the website for the Model X. Let's try it for the other one, BMW. Let's try BMW, and then go to X3, and we've got the BMW X3 coming up there. So it works. So as I mentioned earlier, you probably don't want to go back and select to go back there to go to the defaults. There is something that we can do for that, and we're going to insert a button to reflect that. And so what we need to do is just insert a button. I'll go to insert a button. Where is it? Click on that, and we'll just call this reset. And we'll call this button reset. And it'll take some functions. All we need to do is string them together, and we want to reset this control and then this control. So we have on select. So when you select this button, we want to reset those two controls. So I'll type in reset, open parentheses. The first one we're going to do is DRP, make, and then close parentheses, and then separated by the semicolon. Reset again, press tab, open parentheses. We're going to do the other control, model, close parentheses. That worked. Save. Let's play it again. Let's make some selections, Tesla, and then Model 3. It's going to go to the Model 3. And if we want to go back and reset it, click on that, and it resets those selections. Close that. So bonus tip, I've come across it where it gives you an error. And it's not an error where it doesn't make it work. It's basically an equal null error. EQ null error. And I won't go into the specifics of why it happens because really I don't know why it happens. And other people smarter than me can probably put it in the comments, but I don't know. There's a workaround that I found that will alleviate that. And I'll show you how the error occurs. Let's go back. Go to my app. Click on my app. You'll see this error pop up. It doesn't really seem to affect the execution of it. If I click play and I select Tesla and I select, let's see, Model X here, it's going to go click Model X. So it seems like it's okay, but it's also bothersome because it happens if you embed this onto a SharePoint site. So one way that I found to alleviate that or mitigate that, because I've seen that also shows up when you put this app embedded into a SharePoint. So we don't want to see that. So to alleviate that, we're going to have to put some extra commands in there. Reset this, X that. And basically what we need to do is put in an if statement here if it sees a blank. So that's going to show up ahead of the filter. So I'm going to say for here, all we need to do is put an if statement. So if is blank, let's see, press tab, open parentheses. If the previous dropdown is blank, DRP. If the parent dropdown is blank, drop underscore make, and then the selected value, selected dot value. And if that is blank, so if that is blank, then make it blank. So we're going to type blank, not null, so blank. Otherwise give me my value from that dropdown. Oh, I've messed up my filter here. Type on that. Let's see if that works. And close one more parentheses. Let's see if the error goes away. Yep. Click save. Click play. Select Tesla. Let's try X3. It goes there. Close that. Let's try BMW and go to X3. It goes there. And And let's see if I get the error if I go back. Click on my app. It's going to bring it up. See if that error shows up. And while it's loading, hopefully it doesn't show up. And you can see the error disappeared. So that's a way that we can create a cascading dropdown that links out. And there's some extras there. When we get that error, that equal null error, what we can do for it. Thanks for watching. Now you can create efficient cascading dropdowns in Power Apps using Excel hyperlinks. If you enjoyed this tutorial, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech tips and guides. Your feedback is invaluable, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments.